The biggest update Project Zomboid has ever seen just released. Almost 5 years since the last major update, the wait for Build 42 stable is finally over. And today, we received 2 new trailers, a blog post, and the patch notes, all of which I'll be checking out. But this update is truly monumental. The unstable branch has been very fun but frustrating. But now, with stability, we can get back to our long-term runs and multiplayer servers, and the modding community will be cooking up some incredible mods. This update released just hours ago, and already the all-time peak player record has been obliterated. Build 41 stable brought in 48,000 concurrent players, slowly rising to 59,000, but there is currently 74,000 people playing, so don't be surprised if we see that number hit 100,000 in the near future. And adding to the hype, the Indie Stone have very kindly given me 20 copies of Project Zomboid to give away to you guys, so keep your eyes peeled. There will be some Steam codes randomly placed throughout this video, and the same for my next few uploads. Though if you miss out, I will be giving some away in my Discord server. I will be uploading every few days with some huge videos planned for this release. So hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss out. Let's first check out the announcement blog, which gives a quick overview of the big features added to Build 42. Including deeper crafting and building systems, giving players more ways to create, maintain, and improve their long-term survival setup, from short-term fixes to more ambitious attempts at self-sufficiency. Animals and animal husbandry, adding new layers to wilderness survival, farming, food production, and the fragile dream of building something that lasts. It's also nice to have some living friends. Improved lighting and atmosphere, making homes, towns, forests, roads, and the dark corners between them feel more grounded, readable, and dangerous. Plus, a heavily evolved Nox country, expanding and overhauling the game's Kentucky setting with new and reworked areas that feel more lived in, more natural, and more believable as places that existed long before everything went wrong. We have expanded lore and environmental storytelling, offering more texture to the world before, during, and after everything went extremely sideways. Plus, quality of life improvements and system updates across inventory, interactions, UI, and more, supporting one of the broadest updates in Project Zomboid's long development history. Now, of course, the list of new features added is incredibly long, but let me know in the comments, would you like a video on every single new feature? Going forward, after any necessary hotfixes are identified and released, we will begin working on a patch consisting of tweaks and adjustments based on player feedback, primarily aimed at the late game. They will then be publishing an extensive modding guide and further looking into ways of improving the experience of the amazing Project Zomboid mod community. Pairing that with the release of their mapping tools and in-house animation editor, the future is looking very bright for this game in the modding scene. Clearly, there is plenty of work ahead on the road to our future major builds. But in addition, through the rest of 2026, we will also be working on a Build 42 support update that focuses on optimization, additional modding support, and some player-requested features and polish that didn't quite make the Build 42 stable cutoff. There will also be continued multiplayer and controller improvement throughout the Build 42 patching and support process. So optimization is one I've seen the comments really asking for, and one of the features that definitely missed the cutoff is ladders. So hopefully we see them very soon. Alongside this, they dropped 2 new trailers, one of them being a short animal showcase, and you'll see footage of that throughout this video. But first, the long wait for Build 42 stable is finally over, meaning there is no better time than now to play Project Zomboid with your friends. Multiplayer is so much fun, and thanks to Pine Hosting, setting up your very own server is easier than ever. Whether it's just you and a friend, or a big modded public server, you can get online within minutes. Their high-performance servers have global locations, DDoS protection, and round-the-clock human support. You can easily tailor the settings with the intuitive server panel and add all of those incredible mods using the Workshop installer, or even go hands-off and let the AI assistant take care of everything. Plus, it's not just Project Zomboid. They offer a wide range of games, from Windrose to Valheim, Enshrouded, and more. So, if you'd like to host your very own server to play with your friends, you can use code AWP shop to get 30% off your order. Use the link in the description or pinned comment to help support the channel and get yourself a deal. And now, let's focus on the main showcase. And it has some great comparison shots. Just look at the absolute insane glow up in Rosewood. Looking back at build 41, it looks so plain, lifeless and boring compared to the unstable version, which definitely looks better. However, this place has absolutely nothing on the new Rosewood. It's actually so beautiful. We saw a little sneak peek of this spot in the last video, and I had plenty of comments wondering what the OG Rosewood fire station looks like. This has to be one of the most classic bases in the game, and now it's even better. Just look at that. Some serious surviving is going to happen in there. Not only does it look much better, it's also functionally better. The front area is now mostly gated off. There is an extra floor and a very cool watchtower. We will definitely need ladders to get up there. There is also 2 roofs, plus plenty of access to those. So you no longer need a sledgehammer to take out this wall and get on top. And to top it all off, on the property we have a body of water, and one big enough to contain fish. So that is huge. There really wasn't any close water sources before, and to have it in the compound is perfect. I won't show you the inside, but keep your eyes peeled for a base showcase video in the coming week. Also, I love the artwork on the side of this building. That looks so cool. So here we have Riverside in build 41 compared to the much improved 42. And there we see the fire sprites, a hot topic of discussion, though we now know those are temporary and will be improved. I absolutely love how we went from this empty looking riverside, which was way too clean, did not look lived in, and had a very boring river, to having this well-detailed, busy area that actually makes use of the river. The natural terrain along the river itself as well looks so much better than the plain grass. So this is how Riverside looked before, versus now, where it looks 10 times better, especially with the river actually running through the town. And that connects up to the water down here, which we previously had, also introducing some cool new spots. For me, the biggest single building upgrade has to be the police station. We went from this tiny thing to this absolute marvel. It's not only an incredible police station, but this sort of compound features another very nice building, some docks and a car park, and this 10 out of 10 fire station. What a spot this is now. You really couldn't ask for more, as it is right across from the gas station. Good luck finding a place as stacked as this. One of my first Project Zomboid runs, which you can find on the channel, I did spawn in Riverside, and I have very fond memories of this area, getting some goodies from the tool store. But this updated version puts that to shame. Those 3 stores do remain, but the surrounding area looks infinitely better. And what a glow up that school has had. The previously overpowered gated community also looks quite different, but it is now a great place for construction resources. There's honestly so much we could check out, like this giant children's hospital. However, I will save all of that for the upcoming series of in-depth town guides. As we've seen last time, Dixie has also had a nice improvement, and this one shows the difference that some very small changes can make. Beforehand, this looked like one of the cleanest places I have ever seen. Just look at this immaculate road. Not an ounce of grime or dirt on the buildings, minus a few artifacts. This place looks as if it was just built, whereas now we're seeing a lot more texture variety on the floors and buildings. Simple things like the dirt on this roof, for example, make it feel much more realistic. We can see areas of the lot that have been filled in and patched up, and having trash spread around, along with all of the other small things like cones, barriers, rocks and greenery, really tie the world together, making it feel like an actual place. Now we're in West Point, the mini manor. This spot is located off to the west, and was regularly known as the 3 Mansions, and it was always a great spot. But this place has been replaced, and that is with the West Point Manor, and this place is marvelous. They replaced those 3 houses with a big plantation. It's still placed alongside the beautiful river, and has this improved lake, of which I love this little area here with the stepping stones you can walk across. Though honestly, with this being such a drastic change, I do expect some complaints. Now, I will not be one of them. This place is very cool. Though I know a lot of people do enjoy the smaller bases, and this is definitely not one of those. However, on multiplayer, it would be incredible. And single player too. I don't think it is actually too big. Along with the crop field, we have some animal pens. In here, there are sheep. And back here, we have some cows. But to those of you that did base up in those mansions, how do you feel about this? Twiggy's Bar was another change people weren't sure on, but there's no denying the new version and Stendo's Gun Emporium looks much better. They then show Muldraugh with the upgraded police station, which we have seen, and of course the basements. A very nice feature that was added. McCoy logging has seen a very nice upgrade. Another one that goes from a flat-roofed, plain concrete wasteland to a much more interesting point of interest. There is also a hell of a lot more wood here. But yeah, these new buildings look so much better, and I love those skylights. They look so much more interesting than before, and there is a few more of them around. This one's also very cool, and very full of resources. Onto Fallas Lake, where the church was a great spot, but it's been replaced by a very visually aesthetic scrapyard. With so much being revamped, it's hard to say where is my favourite, but Fallas Lake is probably the top contender. Just look around. As a hoarder myself, this warms my heart. The aerial comparison is pretty wild, as now there is much more going on here, and it looks so much better for it. I think out of all of the towns now, this one actually feels the most lived in, as all of these buildings just feel so unique, and I love that one. The tool store looks great, this store is full of all sorts, and there's a great variety of shopping along the high street. The church does still exist, though it has been moved down south, right behind the horseshoe, and places like this I just find so cool. Not as cool as a pawn shop though. Oh, and the police station definitely had a glow up, as did this very unique building. Gives me very European vibes, and all of the extras like the working clock and water tower on the roof really bring it to life. Deerhead Lake Cabin is another example of transforming from very overly empty and plain to much more visually appealing. The changes aren't even crazy, it's just the solid empty colours that I don't love. And simply adding the greenery, trees, the wooden posts and such, remove that nothingness feeling. The addition of the extra large trees also really helps, and that we will touch on in the patch notes a little more. The forest now looks so much better. So hopefully that gives you a good idea on how much really has changed. If you're coming from Build 41 to this, your mind is going to be blown. And to those of you that have been playing the Unstable Beta, we now have the patch notes, detailing the long list of changes from 42.19 to 42.20. Starting out with the new stuff, where they have updated the main menu artwork, and this new rendered style honestly fits so well. This is a big upgrade in my opinion. The other one was classic, but this one looks great. But the lightning flash reveals the dark reality. Though do note, the main menu sound effects is temporarily disabled. They added an epilepsy warning screen on startup, and finally removed the unstable warning message from the main menu. As mentioned, they added extra large tree types. We now have XL and XXL trees and updated world gen biomes to include them. Wood loot generated by cutting down trees is increased for extra large trees. XL tree overhang can be hidden using right click when driving or scouting ahead. So holding right click will create this circle of visibility. 2 new challenge modes replace Cabin in the Woods in rotation. 28 minutes later, you awake in a doctor's examination room. The world is unusually quiet. In the distance, a scream echoes, and then another. They are getting closer. Fast. Run. And we have Top of the World, a fancy party in the penthouse atop the Louisville Bateman building, taking in the amazing views and rubbing elbows with the city's rich and elite. What an amazing night, but you had a bit too much to drink and needed to lie down. Hold on, what's that banging noise outside the door? They adjusted the spawn coordinates for Winter is Coming and a really CDDA challenge modes, and removed the ability to respawn in a really CDDA challenge. It'll be interesting to see what the CDDA lovers feel about this change, with the spawn house being so iconic. And as we just saw, the challenge mode menu, UI videos and descriptions were updated. They added filters search boxes to the discovered recipe and media UI. Plus, the UI now sorts alphabetically with discovered recipes on top. And of course, the map glow up. Many areas across the map have received a substantial overhaul from the mapping team, though I'd be surprised if you didn't know that already. However, they have implemented performance optimizations surrounding these new areas and features, plus various new room definitions and containers have been added and adjusted across a wide range of locations. Then we have the balance section, where they increase the amount of meat cuts gained from large animals when using the butcher hook. Rebalanced vehicle speed and towing to improve towing experience. Trailers can now detach when turning sharpness or speed is too high. It seems pretty well connected to me, but the towing is finally nice and smooth. They increased the max limit for zombie count before deletion sandbox option from 500 to 5,000. They adjusted the wound infection factor from 1 to 2 in extinction mode. Surprisingly, I still haven't played Extinction, though I'm thinking about doing a series for it on my second channel. I'm sure that'll be pretty fun, if I can survive. Lastly is minor adjustments to the sand biome, adjusting sand, dirt and clay balance. And then we have the sound effects. Added new sound effects for metal saw crafting animation. Added new sound effects for fixed weapon, welding and packing, unpacking animations. There's new sound effects for adding and removing bottles from water dispensers. Fixed coughing after smoking, not triggering sound effects. They fixed the voice audio cutting out under heavy sound effects load, and container corner pieces not having the appropriate sound effects. Fixed some zombie body falls not registering the correct surface and playing incorrect sound effects. Fixed incorrect sound effects playing when vaulting over metal or glass fences. Fixed apply alcohol to bandages and rags sound effect not properly syncing to the animation. Fixed the incorrect sound effect being played when shooting another player during PvP. And fixed the bolt action rifle racking animation being out of sync with the sound. Moving on to technical and debug, where they removed extra debug info added for unstable, so no more crowded text in your right-click menu. Build 42 now correctly applies its default option settings when migrating from Build 41. They re-added compatibility launch mode, improved reliability of packet logging for servers, and removed 225% default zoom option for Steam Deck. Now, multiplayer. They reworked and re-enabled anti-cheats and added server option show coordinates to show and hide the coordinate line on all connected clients. Added ping values for each player in the players and users list tabs, improved load times between pressing click to start and the player spawning into the world, improved network performance during vehicle collisions with zombies, and reworked transferring stackable items. This should significantly reduce the time required to transfer large stacks of items. They also added a separate trading interface for each split-screen player, added a list of tradable items to the trading interface, fixed zombie culling triggering incorrectly, causing severe drops in zombie populations. They fixed an exploit that allows users to gain XP illegitimately and manipulate items spawned while foraging, and fixed remote zombies appearing out of sync due to animation timing. Fixed garage doors opening and then immediately closing on the first interaction. Fixed handcraft actions not working. And building animations playing for the wrong player in split-screen co-op. They fixed an issue where remote players moving while crouched could appear frozen in place, and the same while dragging corpses. Fixed map chunks failing to load while the player is driving a vehicle, and the player's map visited data not saving after a server restart. Fixed an issue where remote players could appear to vault or jump over low fences when simply walking near corners. Fixed an issue that could cause servers to hang during chunk generation, and the vehicle's trunk taking damage when driving over zombie crawlers. They also fixed players occasionally becoming stuck in hit reaction state during PvP interactions, fixed bomb throwing animation not playing for remote players, and the same building showing different loot for different players. They fixed a case of animals duplicating when picked up, and all players lagging when a player builds or interacts with gates. They also fixed scratch ticket results not displaying until after moved from the inventory, and animals on a rope being unable to pass an open fence gate. So that's a good list of changes, including some optimizations and such. So hopefully multiplayer is even better now. The same goes with controller, where they changed gamepad preset default to original, which sets running and sprinting bound to buttons. Added controller support in the trading interface, improved campfire interaction reliability when using a controller, and fixed errors occurring when accessing the vehicle's seat menu. They fixed an issue that could cause random brandishing or interruptions while standing or running, fixed the cursor not disabling after casting a fishing rod while using controller, fixed a lure crash that could occur when reading a brochure a second time, fixed open map button not closing brochures, and being unable to interact with crops on controller. That leads us on to the final section of general fixes, where they made a fix to modding API to restore functionality that was lost following a security patch in 42.14. Fixed a rare crash that would occur for users with certain AMD GPUs, and a crash on the macOS build. Those people will be very happy. They fixed being unable to get up quickly while holding a weapon, and items not auto-transferring when attempting to enter a vehicle seat containing more than 5 encumbrants. Fixed lights not properly consuming generator power. They fixed hypothermia applying damage incorrectly and killing players too fast. Fixed animal info panel not opening and throwing errors, and cases where point-blank shots could miss due to muzzle position being inside the target. They fixed animal stress instantly jumping to 100 when in range of an active car engine, fixed sensor bombs ignoring timers and immediately exploding after placement. Alright, a quick break from the word fix. If you are still watching at this point, just know I severely appreciate it. So, they fixed an issue where incorrect surface heights on tiles caused placed items to clip, and an issue causing zombies to deal excessive thump damage. Fixed an issue where being too close to vehicles allowed bullets to incorrectly pass through them, and vehicles with active alarms, engines, or sirens not updating correctly outside loaded areas. They fixed crafting and building UI favorites tab not displaying or filtering correctly, fixed brick walls, door, and window frames that couldn't be plastered, fixed depth map issues for a wide variety of tiles, and various tile property issues such as vaulting through unopenable windows. They fixed some elements of the UI disappearing when searching within workstations, fixed the world object context menu appearing and allowing interactions while map is open, and they fixed being able to butcher already butchered animals after placing it in a livestock trailer. And we can breathe, though there is plenty more in the list if you want to check it out. However, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Videos will be coming out more consistently than ever, so I'll see you in the next one, and peace.